Rode microphones are the official microphones of BeTerrific. Find out more at rodemic.com. Welcome to the Michael Artsis Show. I'm Michael Artsis. You're watching BeTerrific. Thanks so much for joining us. You're the Terrifics, and you make BeTerrific special. I love that. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I got to tell you, there is so much to get to today, and we have an in-studio guest coming on, which I'm very excited about. We'll be talking about his film and a whole lot more. He's a filmmaker, and we're also going to be talking about the film techniques. A lot to get to, though, and a lot that we probably even won't get to till tomorrow even. But there's so much to talk about. And the first thing is there are plenty of ways to connect with us. First of all, you can go to beterrific.com/live and you can join our Slack chat that is underneath the live video player. So scroll down, enter your email and your name, and then we'll send you an invite for the Slack chat. That's great because you can communicate with us and our other viewers in real time. You can give us comments, you can ask questions, we'll ask on the air, and we check in 24 hours a day so we can keep the conversation going on the Slack chat. You can also reach that by going to beterrific.com/Slack. In addition to that, you can reach us on Twitter and Instagram at BeTerrificTV. Of course, you can email us at BeTerrificTV on Twitter and Instagram, but you can email us, and that is connect@beterrific.com. And if you'd like to be old school about it, like us, or specifically me, you can give us a call, 201-735-7711, 201-735-7711. You might want to jot that number down because we have an extension for the studio that we'll give out in the next coming days, so you can actually call in to the shows, but we'll give you the full number. Anyway, a lot to get to. The New York Rangers have forced a Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals against Tampa Bay, and I was really disappointed with their play on Sunday night, but last night they played amazing, although they struggled at the start. What I did see immediately, though, was a hard-hitting team, a team that had some jump in their legs, and I saw them crash the net, which is what I talked about that they had to do last week. Friday night they did it, Sunday not so much. They found open ice because of that. They made great passes, and they scored goals. 7 of them to be exact. And so the Rangers now move back to Madison Square Garden to take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. That'll be Friday night. And I'm a little worried, to be honest with you. I don't know, which Ranger team's going to show up. They haven't played that well against the Lightning at the Garden. They haven't won 2 in a row in this series, and that's what it's going to take now to close this series out. They are good at best of 7 in 7 games at Madison Square Garden, but, I always worry that a team is due. Hopefully, the Rangers that we saw last night will show up and they'll win. In addition to that, I want to talk tech for a second. I've been using these Aftershock headphones. I got these things, and I got to show them to you. I don't have them on set right now, but I got them at CES, and I immediately said, whatever, I like these LG Bluetooth things instead. And recently I started wearing them, and they're phenomenal. They basically sat on my desk forever. I found them a little uncomfortable at first, but now I've gotten used to them, and I started wearing them, and they're unbelievable. First of all, you don't have to put anything in your ear, which is a lot more comfortable. And in addition to that, they sound really good, and it's a weird feeling when you hear music or you hear speech when you're talking on the phone and you're surrounded by it, but it's not in your ears and you can still hear what's going on. It's like it's part of the conversation. They're really cool. They're called Aftershocks, and I'll tell you more about them in the coming weeks as I put together a tech review on them. We have a whole lot more to get to as well. I do want to tell you about my weekend with Jack. First of all, I did my first father-son family thing at school. He's 2, almost 2. He'll be 2 in a couple days. And last Thursday, they had a carnival, end-of-the-year carnival, as it's not really preschool, he goes to playgroup. And so I raced there after the show, and it was so amazing to see him go through the bouncy castle and all that, and the obstacles, and just had a lot of fun. And Jill was there, and we just had a great time, and it was great. We all had fun, and it was awesome. So it was like mom, dad, and Jack. So it was the father and mom and son thing, and there were other families there, and it's just really, truly, it was just a fun experience and truly remarkable to be able to hang with your son, and like that first time at some kind of thing like this. It was a very proud moment for me, and it was very exciting. And then we went slot car racing over the weekend, which was a lot of fun, and took him to his first zoo, the Van Saun Zoo in Bergen County, New Jersey. He got to see a cow and a horse, and that was unbelievable for him. He had never seen these animals up close. He sees pictures of them in books and drawings of them, and he sees cartoons, but he's never seen an actual animal this big, like up close. Although a couple weeks ago we did see a deer. So Adam has brought in my aftershocks, and I want to tell you more about these things, but they are truly awesome. So first of all, they're bone conducting, so they just go over your ear and they rest on your cheekbone like that, and the battery life is phenomenal. At first they're a little bit uncomfortable, but you get used to them, and they have a headphone strap. I think it's also because I have a particularly wide head, to be honest with you. I wear a big baseball cap, by the way. Fitted caps are huge for me. 7 3/4, maybe 5/8, we're talking, especially in the new era. So these are really, really awesome, though. You know, so at first I put them on and I was like, oh, they're not that comfortable, and took them off and literally had them on my desk forever. Now I'm using the LG ones, and I love the LG ones, but there are some problems with them. The LG ones are around my neck, so it's hard to wear when I'm wearing a shirt and tie, and it looks silly. Not that this doesn't, but this is cleaner. It's out of the way. The other thing is the cable with the LG ones, even with the retractable one, the retractable cable is a little bit fragile, and I may or may not have broken one, but AT&T took it back, which is great, and gave me a new headset. But then I've always got something in my ear, and I don't know, and then I'm always pulling the cable out, and then with the non-retractable ones, they're always getting caught on something and all that stuff. So this just goes on like this, and it's on your head. And you know, they make different colors. I like this one. They also make BeTerrific red, which I love, and all black. And it's very comfortable. It just sits there and it conducts it right into your ear. And it works in loud environments, which was my biggest concern. And people can hear me well, which was my second biggest concern, because I thought that the microphone, I always feel like the microphone has to be like here to hear me well. But the reality is the people hear me really well. In fact, if you call 201-735-7711, you'll hear BeTerrific's new recorded message that I did this morning, welcoming you to call and press whatever buttons, and it was all through this. So you'll hear how good it sounds, and of course they're probably compressing it even further as well. But I really like them. I think they're reasonable for a Bluetooth headset, $100. My only concern with them, they're good, supposedly water resistant and stuff for running or running in the rain and sweating all over them, is that you can't, like, you got to be, they're fragile in the fact that, like, where do you put them when you take them off? So you could kind of wear them all day, I guess, but I can't really fold them in my bag like I feel I can with the other ones. But they're super awesome. I'm going to do a review at some point on them. I'm really liking them more and more and more. I was resistant to using them. I started using them, I guess, about a week ago when I had to do a conference call from home and I didn't have my LGs with me. And these were sitting on my desk at home, and I said, you know what? Let me just throw them on and pair them. They're better than nothing. I think I did the first part of the phone call with nothing on. You know, just holding the phone. This is ridiculous. So halfway through the phone call, I switched it on. Hey, can everybody hear me? Yeah, it's great. So, you know, and I've tested how the sound quality is for other people. So I really like these. I'm really liking them more and more and more. And in fact, I was playing Xbox the other day, and I'm doing pretty well. I got my own team. I'm a GM, which I'm not sure I understand. We'll talk all about that another time. And I wanted to see if I could Bluetooth the headset. So I don't wear a headset when I play. I need to get one so I can play people online. And then I wanted to be able to, apparently there's no like Bluetooth module. You can buy this little thing that connects to the bottom that you can connect a regular pair of headphones, but like I want to do the Bluetooth one, so that would be super awesome. And of course, the reason I was doing that was I wanted to see if these could work with it. And the other cool thing is that they're not, you know, although they push the noise out, they're not, people can't really hear it. It's not an annoyance to them. They can't really hear what you're saying or what's going on, which was my biggest concern, if people could hear what I was saying on phone calls and stuff like that. So, you know, I really like them a lot. I really do. I think they're super awesome, and I want to have these guys on again once I do the review on them. But they sound really good too. It's really interesting. It's a completely interesting concept. It took me like a week to figure out that that's the hang up and call button. I didn't know what that was. I just literally thought that was a design. and couldn't figure out how to hang up without opening my phone and stuff. But I really do like them. They seem pretty durable, and they sound good. They're very comfortable once you get used to them. It is a little weird, but I like the fact that I don't have anything in my ear, especially, I'm on the show and I wear these in my ear all the time. And whether it's true or not, I certainly do feel that it actually is preserving my ears and my hearing and all that, because it's not sitting in my ear directly pumping music or audio, phone calls, which mostly for me it's phone calls into my ear. Anyway, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have a great guest on. I imagine we'll talk a little bit more about the Rangers maybe, and of course, I know that's disappointing to some of you Islander fans, and of course we'll also talk a little bit more about Jack. Maybe we'll show you some pictures. We did play some hoops over the weekend as well. I want to say hi to CJ, Ben, Planet Mitch, Extender, all in our Slack chat, and you guys are awesome. Thank you. You are the Terrifics. And of course, hopefully Digital Phil will join us soon. I do see Paul Dixon there. Guys, let us know how the feed looks and how it sounds, especially today as we're working on our infrastructure continually this week. And hopefully we'll be all sorted out by the end of the week. And next week we'll be in good shape to go. But you guys are awesome. You're the Terrifics. We'll be back right after this. I'm Michael Artsis. Don't go anywhere. Rode microphones are the official microphones of BeTerrific. Find out more at rodemic.com. Welcome back. I'm Michael Artsis. This is the Michael Artsis Show. Thanks so much for joining us. You're watching BeTerrific, and you're the Terrifics. Thank you so much. These are the Aftershocks, by the way, just so I pronounce it correctly. AFTERSHOKZ. Check them out, Aftershocks. If you don't want to wait, that's the Z. And by the way, I am wearing the Flip My Tie again. This is the reverse side. Not the one I wore yesterday, but a different one. Just really liking these, and they sent me a bunch because they're going to come on, so I figured I'd rock a couple of them and see how I like them. So this is the first time I'm wearing the reverse side. The normal side looks like that, which is similar to the one I was wearing yesterday, but it would probably be too busy for this shirt. Let's see. I don't know. Probably could have pulled it off, but I like this one today. All right, we've got Yuri Alves here. Woo! Almost knocked over the computer. That would have been really interesting.
I would have caught it.
Yeah, you would have caught it, which would have been cool. Because that would have been good reflexes on your part. Not such good reflexes on my part for almost knocking it over, but I'm not used to turning. I usually keep it over here. I'm all over the place today, all right? Am I not?
I see that. No, but it's very entertaining.
Thank you. We got to get that mic higher on you. We should have run it up your shirt too. Aren't you a professional director and producer? Let's go here. Are we letting the sound guys? You do this.
1 second.
Yeah, there we go. Let's kill his audio real quick. Hold up. Kill his audio real quick. There you go. Now get it up. I think that, sometimes you just got to roll with it and do it right. Adam's just so busy today. He just didn't have a chance to do it right, I think. And of course, we had some trouble with traffic getting you here, I guess. So now we can put, your mic back up. Yuri, thank you so much for joining us. That's a pretty cool hat. What is that hat? It's the Commando unit.
This is a Return of the Jedi Star Wars limited edition fitted hat.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. I thought that Adam would appreciate this.
I appreciate it. What do you, Adam? Adam doesn't appreciate anything. No, he does. What's the deal with the hat? It's a New Era hat.
New Era.
And they've licensed, I guess, the whole Star Wars stuff. So you've got a Return of the Jedi hat. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Where do I get that? Do I just get it at Lids or what?
No, well, it would be hard for you to find it at Lids. I mean, I was able to get it online. I never found one of these at a Lids, but you can. What, are you searching for it right now? Are you gonna find it online right now? Are you gonna get the same hat that I have?
I'm not gonna get
the next time I see you, are you gonna have this hat on? The whole point is to get an exclusive hat that no one can have, so I can be that guy.
But how do you get that?
You can't get this hat.
How do you get that hat?
You can't get it.
There has to be a way.
There is no way. This was the last one, man.
Well, it's got to be somewhere. I'm gonna find it. It kind of matches the Shockers, right?
Yeah.
The Aftershocks. What are they called again? I can never remember this. The Aftershocks. I don't know why I can't remember this, but these are cool. No, I can't find it anywhere. Well, hold on. Here I'm going to newera.com. How's that sound?
Good luck, my friend.
Oh man. So where'd you get it?
Listen, the website closed down actually. It was like a third-party website.
Okay, so it wasn't New Era. And you search for this stuff. I always find directors have the most interesting hats. When you look at Spielberg, what he wore on film sets and stuff, they always have the most interesting hats. Is that true?
I don't know. I never really thought about that. But
Do you search for unique hats?
I'm a big hat guy. I do search for unique hats actually.
Adam, you want to show him some unique hats? We've got some unique hats in the back, right? Some Tokidoki stuff. I bet he can't find that just anywhere.
Actually, I just came across a hat that I loved back there.
It was the Frame.io one.
Oh, that's a pretty exclusive hat.
I know. I felt it. Did I not? Isn't that the first thing that I went there to get? I went in there and I was like, I love the gear, but what's up with that hat right there?
Yeah. Yeah. Forget about the gear.
I actually held it in my hand.
You did.
I did.
Do you know what that hat does? You have no idea. See, that's the thing. I'm going to blow your mind.
Okay.
Okay, so Adam's going to get that hat and some Tokidoki gear.
Okay.
How's that sound? Do you know of Tokidoki?
No, I don't.
You will like Tokidoki, that I promise. Hold on, here we go. So here's the Frame.io hat. So this hat looks cool, right?
Yes.
It looks pretty cool. I haven't worn this out yet. I feel like I should wear it out. I just have it on my desk. This is a cool hat. It's a nice logo, nicely made hat and all that stuff. I'm going to blow your mind right here. I don't know if you can see that. Do you see it? Now this was given to me at NAB. Now do you see it?
Okay, now I see it.
See, if you use the force, you will see it. and the thing is that I can then make it red if I really want to. And I think about it, so I can go to the dark side. Can you see that?
I do think
there are a lot of lights in here. It's hard to see.
No.
And then maybe we go to the flashing one, right? Orange. But then we can flash it. How about that? How about that?
So so the buttons right here on the side.
The buttons on the side, but if you remember this stuff from like the 80s, right? It was all like didn't look good, and it had huge batteries, and wow, I got into colors I've never even seen before. Whoa, I got blue up here. This is insane. Anyway, in the 80s, you remember they'd sell these on the streets of New York City?
Yes.
And they'd have a battery pack that was the size of your car, and they'd weigh a lot, and it'd all be terrible construction, and it'd be a garbage hat with all this stuff, and it'd be $30. This was a gift, but you can go to lumative.com, and I've been trying to get them on the show, actually. That's why it's sitting on my desk. This was a gift from Frame.io. Have you started using Frame.io as a filmmaker? You got to check it out.
No, I haven't.
All right, it's frame.io. We can talk about that later.
Okay.
But anyway, they gave us this hat at NAB, or me this hat at NAB, and you can see that literally you can't find wires and cables and batteries. It's a rechargeable battery, and there's a little tiny port like in here, but it doesn't make the hat uncomfortable or anything.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It almost makes it be more solid over here and everything.
Yeah.
You know?
It's pretty sweet, right? Now
Really
we've got the
sweet.
blue color on.
Yeah.
I like blue.
Yeah.
But it's not BeTerrific red. It's hard to see on camera, but this is really cool. Lumative.com. Lumative.com. I still can't find your hat. Adam didn't bring the, we've got some Tokidoki hats back there that are pretty awesome.
This hat really does, we do connect very much.
You're sold on that, right? Now here's the cool part though. Your production company is called Dreamplay. You can have Dreamplay logos put on that and light it up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I looked into having BeTerrific done for that, but when you have it custom, it's like a lot. It's a lot of money.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool though.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It's super cool.
Very
So
cool.
where did you get this? On some Japanese website? Do you search for unique hats?
I had a phase where I was doing that a little bit more. That's basically that's something that I enjoy doing, just kind of going around and searching for hats. It was kind of a little phase that I was in. I haven't done that in a while, but you still haven't found it though, huh?
Nope, I still haven't found it. I'm looking.
Right.
You know? But you were going through that phase and no more. I don't know, I kind of feel like I go through that phase too. Like I like hats and then don't care about hats and then get back into hats. I've started to get more into hats as I started shaving my head. I don't know.
Well, when my hair was shorter, I used to be way more into hats as well. Actually, this hat is tight on my head now because my hair is so long. So I wish I had a size a little bit higher size, but again, there's no.
That's going to be hard.
I think
you're going to have to cut your hair. But I'm jealous of that because I can't just cut my hair. I have to shave my head.
Right. Well, that's a choice that you make. You could.
No. I have very little hair left. It looks bad on camera. All right, let's talk about what you're here to talk about. But is it a thing with directors? Is that a thing, or you guys just like being creative and unique? I don't know. I direct stuff too, and
Well, you're a hat guy.
I am a hat. There you go.
So there it is.
Yeah.
So you've proven it.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. I like that though. That's the 5950 hat from New Era, and I think we got to get some BeTerrific 5950s. Anyway, I'll tell you what. When we come back from break, we'll show you the Tokidoki hat for sure. Cool. I might have to tell Adam where it is, but I don't know if you've seen this one. This one looks pretty cool. Have you seen that one?
Oh wow.
That's the Stormtrooper.
The Stormtrooper one.
Yeah, that's a New Era Stormtrooper. I could send the link to Adam, and he could put this up. But I can't put that up on the screen for everybody. Ben is saying that he doesn't like hats with flat bills. I have to kind of agree with that. I would curve even that. But on the other hand, just 'cause I don't think they look good on me. But this looks good on you. I wish I could get the flat bill to look good on me.
I mean, well, why you don't think? I thought this one has the flat bill, and this one looks.
It looked good on me. Yeah,
really cool. Actually, put this hat on.
All right, I'm putting this on.
This hat is.
It needs to be a little.
I mean,
tighter,
I just think that.
Yeah. I do think it looks all right. It looks pretty good.
It does.
Now we're men in hats.
Now we're men in hats. Yeah.
All right, so men in hats, and I have, you know what? I have another cool hat in the back that I wear. I wear like when I'm broadcasting outside, but I also wear it on like a sunny day with a suit. I've got a couple of these winter hats now. This is a summer one. I kind of look like a reporter in it, though. I feel like it should have a little press card in the
You know who you look like right now?
Who do I
look
look
like?
like?
Steven Soderbergh.
Ha! You're way too kind. All right, let's talk about this film you've got. I saw the trailer earlier on Vimeo. I am so impressed. I've seen your work before, but this blows me away. How did you come? First of all, what's the name of the film? I've already forgotten. That's how busy I've been. You know, I told my wife tells me I forget everything. I'm starting to believe that. I used to remember everything. I'm starting to believe that I forget everything now.
The name of the film is Exit Road.
Exit Road, yes. Thank you. I also saw Brick City. That's about Newark.
Right, well, that's it's just like an experimental piece.
You know what I learned from that film is that no matter how much they want Newark to look nice, it still looks like Newark.
That's right. That's right. And there's a beauty in that.
I'm not sure what the beauty is, but I guess there is a beauty in that. You know, I guess there is. You can't tell the difference between Newark and Pittsburgh when you look at them closely, in close-up shots. Anyway, all right. So, what about this film? How did you come up with the idea? It's a really dark film. You wrote it, right, and directed it. Mm-hmm. It's really dark. You've won a lot of awards, but it's dark. It's about a meth head. Well, is it meth? It is meth, right? Or is it ecstasy? Or is it just all drugs? Is it heroin? What is it?
No, it's actually, he's actually a recovering crack addict.
Crack, it's crack.
Right, because it's you know, it's sort of the cheapest of drugs, you know what I mean?
That's
the
what
most
they say
accessible.
until you become addicted. It's cheap till it breaks you.
Right.
They say that I gotta bend this.
Oh man, you're bending it. Oh,
no, I think it's gotta be flat. I go back to flat with. All right, we made it flat again. It's okay.
Who's telling you to bend this?
This is what the audience is telling me.
Guys,
I'm
please,
listening.
you don't bend this one.
They're the terrifics. I gotta listen a little bit till they're wrong, till I know they're wrong for sure. All right, so it's crack because it's the cheapest.
Yeah, I mean, and really it's really more of an exploration of what addiction does to you and the imprisonment that it creates. Not necessarily like one drug or another, but that one, when I was coming up with the film, that one always felt like the most accessible and that would make the most sense for that character because it's the cheapest, and therefore you could believe that his journey to try to confront and overcome that is not something that's based off of finances, but really something that's more of an internal will. So I kind of wanted to just get the money aspect out of the window so that it wasn't about that.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to look at the trailer and then hear a whole lot more. I have so many questions for you on this, including how you made it, like what gear you used, which is probably the simplest. But we got to take a quick break. How's that sound?
Great.
All right. I'm Michael Artsis. This is the Michael Artsis Show on BeTerrific. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. Rode microphones are the official microphones of BeTerrific. Find out more at rodemic.com. Hey, I'm Michael Artsis. Thanks so much for joining us. This is the Michael Artsis Show. I think Adam needs some sleep. I'm just kidding. It's actually Yuri who needs sleep. He's drinking coffee in that cup, although I did offer you Senor Sangria. We have a couple of bottles here. I have the winner of the Senor Sangria contest, by the way. I think that, thanks for joining us.
Oh man, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yes.
I'm having a lot of fun here.
It's good to have you here. It's really good. Anyway. So I am rocking this hat now. I wanted to do a little hat expo, I guess. Before we get into your film, let's just
talk about the important thing today.
Yeah.
We're talking hats, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. The hats are what is important. So this is the hat I wear like all the time. How's this hat look?
I mean, as I commented before, I think that it gives you a whole new kind of swag.
Thank you very much.
And like, I mean, I don't know if we can see it with the camera, but they can't see the red Nike sneakers that you're sporting right now. There we go.
That's the whole getup. Yeah, and this is how it goes. So I think this is a pretty unique hat, and you've been up all night editing. You're the one who needs sleep, but I have the winner of the Senor Sangria contest right after I show you the Toki Doki hats. How about that one?
That is dope.
You like this one?
Yeah, this one definitely makes me feel very West Coast right there.
Yeah, and how about this one? This is another Toki Doki. Yeah. I'm going to break out the probably what's going to be your favorite Toki Doki hat. Somewhere we have a BeTerrific hat. I just don't have it here today. I didn't wear it. But I do like the BeTerrific hats a lot. And they are new era. How about that?
That is really cool.
That's a Toki Doki hat. Tokidoki.com. All right. I'll put this hat
Toki
back
Doki.
on. Or should I just wear no hat for the show? Well, I've never worn a hat for the show. I'll wear it for a little while.
I don't know. I mean, listen, I think that, if I had a shaved head, I would totally be like switching around all sorts of hats because I feel like you don't have the hair in the way.
Yeah.
The hat can shine.
Right.
See, because my hair kind of ruins my hat a little bit because it's like.
No, I think that's a great look. You look like a baseball player. Like you could play third base for the Mets in the 80s right now with the beard and everything. Howard Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. Ho, Joe. You got to do this whole thing with the bat. Anyway, so yeah, this is the hat that I rock all the time, other than the BeTerrific hat. And I also wear the Toki Doki stuff. But let's get back to your film. So what made you come up with this, and how did you have such an insightful mind about drug addiction? Did you experience this, or did a family member?
No, I mean, I didn't experience this, thankfully, but I actually knew some people. I mean, I grew up in Newark, so sort of an environment where as you grow up, different people fall into unfortunate things. So I actually had a lot of insight into it because I actually, in making the film, I worked with some recovering addicts.
How did you go to clinics and help them? Or did you, I think it's interesting. Did you cast them in the movie?
I cast them. In the
really?
film.
But you wrote it before you shot it. So how did you get the insight for that?
But I sort of catered it to the cast that I had access to, and sort of catered it to that. Do you know what I mean? So it was sort of conceived and then sort of massaged into being something that then these characters could embody.
Yeah. Well, I think what we need to do is we need to play the trailer, and when we play the trailer, then we can come back and talk more about it. But it's very intense, and
it is.
Yeah, it's very.
I'm
intense.
very happy to be done with it.
I got an emotional I was emotionally drawn a little bit after watching the trailer, and I had angst, like real anxiety.
Yeah.
I have a.
Well, I live with that 24 hours a day. I'm just trying to make other people feel that too now. Yeah.
But how long did it take you to edit?
It took quite a while.
Yeah.
To edit the film. I mean, I'm doing it on the side of all these other projects that I have going on. So, I don't even know how to say how long it really took to put together because it was worked on.
So it's not completely done. It is done, right?
No, it is done. It is done. It is done. It's just the editing of it. It was more sporadic. It wasn't like we had like a set post-production schedule. It was something that I sort of worked on, in true independent film fashion.
I gotta watch the whole film.
Yeah, you do. You should watch it.
I don't
and
know.
Tribeca tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, you've won all these awards already too, which is amazing. The thing, I don't know if I could handle this. I have a personal experience that it really, I think, set me off with this. I'll talk about it when we watch the trailer.
Cool.
Let's watch the trailer. I found it really realistic. This is Exit Road. Yuri Alves is, the filmmaker, director, producer. You did everything, right? And it's Dreamplay production as well.
Yes.
All right, let's check it out.
Listen, I don't know how much you need. I don't know what your habits consist of for a week.
I'm cracking the fuck up out here.
You can't come here every week and ask me and help.
No, I know. But I know you got something. That's nothing, man. Brittany, wake up!
You'll never guess who just came through. Came by my spot. He's here now.
You want to just kick me out? I'm good as dead out there.
People have an addiction to money, how they behave, how they wake up, the things they do every day, how they can't change, how things control their lives. Addiction's a motherfucker.
Wow. I don't even know what to say about that. I will tell you this. Wow. I guess I'm going to share a personal story now. I was thinking about, while it was playing, do I want to share this personal story or not? But I guess I'm going to share this personal bit of information. My father was a drug addict. So I think that's why it creates such anxiety watching that, such an emotional draw. But I find it very accurate. I guess that's the thing. And it kind of brings you back, and I have a young son now, and seeing that little kid there, it's just, wow, that tears my heart apart. I don't know if I could watch the whole film. I'd like to. It looks great, but I don't know if I could. This is why I say, it's so real. It's hard for me to take, but it's also so real. You did a great job.
Well, thank you. I mean, I think that it's, unlike other things that I've done in the past, this is a film that sort of, the authenticity of the way in which those things are portrayed in the film, I think, are as important as, anything else. I mean, I don't think that there was really a margin for it to not have that brutal realism. But although the film, and you haven't watched it, the film does have a much more sort of dreamy, almost, I don't know, how would I say it? There's almost a dreamy landscape to the way in which things play out, in the sense that, it is realistic, but at the same time, it's as if he's like a hamster on that wheel, and he's running and running, but he's never going anywhere. And there is this idea that he's almost stuck in this sort of day that he keeps waking up to, and it's almost like his whole life is that day, are these battles. So in an aspect, what you're seeing in the movie is the result of a life that we don't really see, but we have we have an insight into, in the sense that, the characters, I wanted to make a film where the characters that come across, you understand that he was an addict, and we all understand what an addict, the perception of an addict to other people is, that they're outcasts. And I wanted to kind of explore the idea that these are people that are on the fringes of society, and that really was the aspect that I related to the most, is that they're made to be outcasts, and how do we help these people with compassion? Are they, because they're sick, in a sense, and I feel like that the film, although it's realistic, it also very much has this sort of surreal quality to it, at least by the last chapter of the film, where it's really like a spiritual, almost a mystical journey that this character is on. You don't really, everybody that he comes across in this one day, because you're with him for one day, is the result of a lifetime of mistakes.
It reminds me a lot of 25th Hour, the way it's shot.
Oh, I love that movie.
I
love that film. That's so funny. I never thought about that.
But it really doesn't, especially when you talk about a day, right? It's a day in his
Right.
life. I think that yeah, there is some dream aspect to it, maybe, and maybe some fantasy, from what I can tell, some fantasy world, or he goes into different places.
It's almost like a nightmare.
Yeah, yeah,
more so than a dream.
Well, I guess that there's part of like a Jacob's Ladder to it too, if you will. I don't know if you saw that
Oh,
that
yes,
film.
of course, I love that film.
But yeah, it was definitely intense. I don't know how you wrote this though, especially not either being an addict or having a family member that's an addict. And then you cast the people. I guess did you really let them kind of play the scenes a little loose and fast and loose, and kind of rewrite a lot of scenes too as you were doing it?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I do that with a lot of the short films that I've done, but with this one more so than anything else was that, you know, I really wanted to just capture the moment, you know, and as truthful as possible. So I really abandoned a lot of the actual dialogue of the film. I mean, some of it is more exact, the voiceover and things like that. But when we're actually shooting a scene, I wanted to really, I wanted to kind of make a film where I didn't have any preconceived notions of what was going to happen. Almost embrace that kind of like more like Cassavetes style filmmaking,
Sure.
where you really, you know, you really allow things to happen, and all I wanted to do is just really guide it, and you know, stylistically, you know, obviously, kind of really wanted to put you inside of the character's head. So that was my sort of from a directing standpoint. I always wanted to feel as if, you know, kind of like in Taxi Driver, where you're seeing everything from the character's perspective, you know, and and that was important to me. But yeah, it was, you know, it was very loose at moments. Other moments it was very precise. I mean, we switched off a lot, but yeah, it wasn't so much the words that were important. It was more like the motions and the behavior, you know.
Well, we'll talk a lot more about it when we come back. Exit Road is the film. I want to find out where people can watch it once it finishes at Tribeca, where they can watch the full film. Very intense, very impressive, and I want to find out how you shot it, what gear you used, and how you put that together. This is the Michael Artsis Show. I'm Michael Artsis. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. You're the Terrifics, and we love that. You make BeTerrific special. Rode microphones are the official microphones of BeTerrific. Find out more at rodemic.com. Welcome back to the Michael Artsis Show. I'm Michael Artsis. Thanks so much for joining us. You're the Terrifics. You make BeTerrific special. There are plenty of ways to reach us. The best way is BeTerrific.com/Slack or BeTerrific.com/live. Scroll under the live video player and enter your information, and we'll send you a Slack chat invitation, and you can join us on our Slack chat. It's lots of fun. You can also reach us on Twitter and Instagram at BeTerrificTV, and of course you can email us, connect@BeTerrific.com. I've got Yuri Alves here. Thanks so much for joining us. Exit Road is the film we just checked out. We've been talking about. You're a filmmaker, producer, director. You do all sorts of different projects too, even commercials and everything. You said that this was intense to edit. Is it because of the content? Is that why?
Oh, yeah.
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 So you actually like.
I just wanted to get out of that world.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, when you're doing it, you've got to be in that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's
you know,
that's really intense.
I was always on edge, you know, when I was
Yeah.
making this film. I felt like I was kind of taking on, because you end up sort of taking on the attributes of these characters, you know, and then so when you're seeing them alive, you know, I was always on edge. Any little thing would happen, and I found myself almost reacting behaviorally, kind of like the character, because I was so inside that world. So I was very happy to be finished with it. But it was almost one of those things where I felt more like it was something that I had to do for this sort of strange reason that, you know, I needed to see it through till the end.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was like, all right, well, you know,
What did you
I
cut
have
on?
to. I actually cut on Final Cut.
Okay.
And I
Final
went-
Cut 7 or X?
Final Cut 7, like an old school.
What are you
know.
doing now? Are you using Premiere? Are you going
Yeah,
to
I'm using
X?
Premiere. I'm using Premiere. I've dabbled with X as well, but really we've kind of transitioned over to Premiere. But I still enjoy Final Cut 7 for, you know, just because I can just work really fast on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but they're all the same. You know, in the end of the day, I mean, I think that really Avid is the one that you can kind of work through the most, and that's the one that I know the least about. But I have a lot of editing buddies of mine that are really good at Avid, and I really enjoy being with them and editing with them and seeing what that
I
machine
enjoy
does.
editing with other people where they push
so
the
much.
buttons and I sit back and go, no, change that, do that. Yeah,
I didn't get to do that as much in this film, but I did have a buddy of mine that edited this film with me.
Okay.
It's Dan Dowding. He's a filmmaker.
Where
very
can
talented.
people go watch it? So now it's at Tribeca, and then where? Where can people watch it? Can they get it on Vimeo or on Netflix or something?
Okay, well, they can watch it at Tribeca Cinemas tomorrow, Thursday, at 7:30 p.m. It's part of the New York Portuguese Film Festival. Then on Saturday, it's part of the Hoboken Film Festival, which is in Middletown, New York, and it's at the Paramount Theater.
Wait, the Hoboken Film Festival's in Middletown, New York?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Just confirming.
Yeah, just making sure, because
Sure,
Hoboken's
sure.
in New Jersey, just in case
Right.
those of you who don't know. Anyway.
And then, online, as far as online, that we have the Vimeo, we have the trailer and all that. The film, won't really be available online until after it goes through its festival circuit, and we're just, kind of giving the film that exclusivity and being able to have it be something that you can really experience only on the big screen. Because it's a film that really, I think that the film has such an atmospheric sort of submersive quality that I think that when you watch it on the big screen, it really comes off in such a much more profound manner than, but it will be online eventually.
I think, that brings up an interesting point, because there are so many films now being released at the same time online or shortly thereafter, and most people are watching stuff online at home in their home theaters or on their flat screens. I was just listening to Adam Carolla on the radio this morning, and he said that his film is simultaneously online as it is in theaters. He's got a film he raised $1.5 million for on Kickstarter or some crowdfunding site.
Sure, I remember that one.
And it's just interesting that it's simultaneously in select theaters. I mean, that is a difference of watching any movie really on a big screen versus on a small screen. Now, obviously, people are getting bigger and bigger screens in their houses, and some people are having home theaters. Right. But it is a difference, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I think that a lot of that is done because of the piracy. I mean, if they make it available online at the same time as it is in theaters, that maybe people won't be so inclined to go and kind of rip it from a torrent site or whatever. I think that that's the way too. But
do you think that's true?
I think that is true. I think that that's a big reason why that happened.
No, do you think that people are less inclined to rip it if the reality is they can go get it?
Yeah, I think so.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the percentage is, but I do believe that there's definitely a good amount of people that are like, well, if it's available and I can just download it, okay, and I can just, because it's already all integrated with their Apple TV or whatever.
What'd you shoot this on?
Okay. Well, I don't normally like to talk about what I shot this film on because a lot of people think it was shot on certain. A lot of people think there's been some people that said that they thought it was shot on film, and I'm like, when I start hearing that,
that's great. That's a compliment. I know what I think. You want me to tell you what I think?
Sure.
I should write it down on a piece of paper. I think. Well, I might have a little insight here.
Sure.
I may not.
I cannot wait to hear what you think.
I think you shot it on a Blackmagic Pocket Cam, a lot of it, and I think you color corrected the hell out of it.
Okay. Well. Okay.
I think
is this final answer?
Well, and I think you had a GH4 or 3 in the mix as well.
Okay.
But if you did either of those cameras, I'd be blown over and completely impressed. I was looking at it and I thought, this can't even be 5D Mark III. It looks, honestly, it looks like a much more expensive camera, maybe a C500 or C300. At the least a C100 with some kind of Odyssey Q7 or Atomos. I could even buy an Alexa maybe if you said that.
I'm honored to hear such big name cameras right now.
And maybe what I really felt like when watching it was a Red, but I said no way.
Okay.
I said no way because not that you haven't used Reds or don't shoot on them, but just that the cost in doing that, and in the Alexa too, I know better. Right. It's prohibitive, especially on a film like this.
Right.
but I can't believe anything else I just mentioned. I really can't buy into that.
Okay.
But I will stick with
Okay,
my
final
idea is the
answer?
pocket camera.
Okay, pocket
and
camera.
a GH from Panasonic. I don't know if it's the 3 or the 4. Probably a 3. Those would be my final. You used more than one camera, and those were the 2.
Okay. All right. So, you're wrong.
I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Okay. Wow.
I don't want to say wrong, it feels so negative. You're incorrect.
No, I'm wrong. You can say I'm wrong.
It wasn't either of those two cameras.
It was a 5D3?
And it wasn't that camera either. And I
Wow.
only used one camera on this film.
Nikon?
And the camera that I used on this film was a Canon T2i.
No, you didn't. Get out of here. Go to commercial. I'm done. I'm leaving. What?
Yeah,
A T2i?
that's right.
No.
Yes.
I don't. Adam, do you believe that?
Adam knows.
Adam, put your microphone up and talk on
Adam
it.
already knew the answer, I'm sure.
I don't think he knew the
Yeah,
answer.
we should show the Broken Clouds trailer.
Yeah,
That
sure.
was,
What are you talking
that was
about? He
T2i.
shot this on a T2i?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is anybody buying anything? Forget it. Don't buy any more cameras. You don't need it. Go buy a T2i.
Yeah,
What
how
is
about
that?
Canon start sponsoring some things, you know what I mean?
$600 for this camera? Not even now. $400? Show that trailer again. For God's sakes, this puts everybody out of business. You don't need a production company. T2i, there it is. $400, a couple pieces. What kind of glass did you use?
Okay, well I used, the glass was important though.
Show this trailer again. Don't give it audio. Let's talk over it. I cannot believe this.
Okay.
This is a T2i,
This is a Canon T2i.
and that's all you shot the whole film
I
with.
shot the whole film with that.
What glass?
I used these old
Nikon?
Nikon lenses.
I knew that.
Yeah, you got that. That was, I'll give you that.
I knew there was some Nikon
Yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I've got old Nikon glass back there from my grandfather's Nikon F2. It shoots so stunning, and it's something about it you cannot compare to it.
Yeah, I mean it has, and these were these really old Nikon lenses, actually from a buddy of mine who's actually one of the producers of the film, and his father, and these were his father's lenses, who actually passed away while we were making the film,
wow.
and I ended up dedicating the film to him, which his name is Sam Carolla.
Any relation to Adam?
No relationship to Adam.
The extender just said, WTF, I'm done. That's in our Slack chat. I'm serious. People, I'm beside my. Can we show the trailer again? Okay, we're gonna show the trailer again, and I need to show what these Nikon lenses look like. I think I have some in the back that literally are the same. So this is all on a T2i.
This is a Canon T2i right here.
How did you get
at
these?
24
How about these
frame.
tracking shots?
Yeah, well, I'm hanging outside of a car.
No,
but
you didn't use a Steadicam
There's no Steadicam. There's barely any tripod. Everything is operated by me, and it's all pretty much handheld. And then sometimes we'll have a static tripod shot, but pretty much because of the manner in which I was filming, I wanted it to be as light as possible, you know. And I just didn't want. I mean,
And
that's
you
a
shot
tripod shot.
You
obviously.
shot on memory cards?
I shot on on SD cards. Yeah, that's right.
I don't even believe this. I
Yeah.
want to see your raw footage. I no, I believe you. I cannot. I'm
Well,
blown away.
Adam knows. I mean, yeah. I mean, and you know, I think that it's really a matter of.
I'm so impressed. First of all, I was impressed with your work beforehand. I am so impressed. This is like literally, we could have given you an iPhone to do this, and I know you could shoot really well on an iPhone. But now, did you? I mean, I don't even know what. Like, this blows my mind. You literally just use the camera, some Nikon glass, and a memory card, and maybe a tripod.
Yes. That's
What'd you do
pretty
for
much-
lighting?
We bounced a lot of light. I did more bounce. I try to use a lot of it.
How about audio? That's a
Yeah.
major issue with these cameras.
Well, I mean, the audio is all recorded separately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
And you just
the Zoom.
synced it up.
Yeah, I synced
The
it up.
Zoom.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's unbelievable.
Yeah, and I did all, like, I boomed everything, so there was no lavs or anything like that. But I can't really trust the lavs sometimes, so.
Now, would you use the T2i again if you were shooting? What would you, I mean, it came out so great.
no,
Why wouldn't you use it
no,
again? It looks
because-
so good.
because-
Did you color, wait, before you answer.
Yes.
Did you color correct the heck out of that?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, not really. It's a film I really wanted it to look
I mean, you have
more
such
natural.
You have such darkness and such lightness, you didn't have an issue with dynamic range.
Well, I mean, what I would do is when I did have that issue,
You would switch to an Alexa and not tell anybody.
No, but what I would do is I would actually cut the image in half. You see what I'm saying?
No.
I would cut it in half in
I have
post.
no idea what you're talking
I'd cut it in half in post. So in other words, I would double expose them on one on top of the other, and I would cut it in half.
You
and
made an HDR.
Exactly. Yeah.
You made an HDR photograph and video.
Exactly. basically.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how.
This guy's a genius. We got to take a commercial. I'm going to get this Nikon glass out to show you. We'll be back with a whole lot more right after this. Don't go anywhere. You're the Terrifics. I'm Michael Artsis. He is Yuri, an amazing, amazing filmmaker. Now I think he's even more amazing. We're going to talk about not using steady cams and all that stuff. There's no rolling shutter there or anything. We got to talk about all this when we come back. Get in our Slack chat, BeTerrific.com/Slack. Send us your email and your name, and we'll send you an invite, and you can join the conversation. We'll be back right after this. Thanks so much for watching. Rode microphones are the official microphones of BeTerrific. Find out more at RodeMic.com. I'm Michael Artsis. Thanks so much for joining us on the Michael Artsis Show. You're watching BeTerrific. Thanks so much. By the way, join the conversation. Our Slack chat is BeTerrific.com/Slack. You put your email in, you put your name in, we'll send you an invite. It's pretty cool. I've got Yuri Alves here, DreamWorks Productions, or Dreamplay, sorry. DreamWorks someday. Dreamplay. And we're talking about your film, Exit Road. It's an amazing, amazing film. Shot it on a Canon T2i, which blows my mind. This is something like one of the lenses you use. This is an old Nikon.
Yes.
This is a 200 to 400 push-pull f4.
Yeah, I used that very lens.
This very lens.
Yeah, it was one of the lenses we used. Yes.
Unbelievable. And this is a pretty beefy lens. It's got no image stabilization either. So how with using these lenses? Here's a Nikon 50-1.4. Thank you, Adam. Nikon 50-1.4. Did you use one of these?
I did.
That lens is gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love this.
With these lenses, with no image stabilization, they're old lenses. They do look beautiful. How were you able to do these shots with no Movi, with no Steadicam, and get like running with the guys, chasing them? There's no rolling shutter, nothing.
I don't know. It's just a relationship that I have with the camera after using it, quite a lot. That if you just, I don't know. If I really don't know how to explain it. You see, I'm sorry, I don't know how to explain it because it's just. It's just it's almost like the balance of the speed versus the rolling shutter, and that there's a way to do it so that doesn't happen, And I just hold it very steady.
Yeah.
And
so you were the camera operator, the director of photography, the director of the film, and the producer, and you also held the camera steady. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I shot every shot of this film. I shot. I mean, I was
That's impressive.
Because sometimes it was just me. Yeah. There was moments where I wouldn't use any sound, and I already knew that coming in because it was going to be all post, done in post. So it would be so that I can have the most intimacy possible. It would be just me, and sometimes just the one actor.
Yeah.
For example.
Do you think that there is so there's one thing about independent films and films like this that there is that intimacy that they don't have on film sets, and I don't understand why sometimes you can't kick everybody out and just say it's just the camera operator and the director.
Well, you can. I mean, some do. I know Martin Scorsese does that.
But they don't usually do it, and it's not done a lot. And also, like, that's actually, to me, I agree. I think that's the beauty with shooting with a DSLR, that you can do this stuff and kind of disarm the person or the actor because, especially with documentary work, they forget the camera's there.
Right. And then a lot, I'm sorry to interrupt, but a lot of these actors that I worked with, some of them, this was the first time. My main actor, he was the first time that he ever made a film. So it was kind of hell when we were shooting because he didn't understand every time I would do another take that if he kept you have to stand where you're at that you have to stand in your mark or else you're out of focus.
Sure.
Because everything is manually, as you know. So that was a big hurdle to get over. Is kind of the training of kind of like how that works, of like how films are made from that most practical, basic level. But as we went along, he got better and better, and I think he delivers. Dane Sansevero, who's the main actor of the film, I think he delivers a really just profound performance. That I think that all I wanted to do was help him as much as I could, and sort of trying to really bring out,
Well, that's your job as a director, but I mean there is some intimacy to having. you know, you being one-on-one as opposed to a whole crew and stuff like that. It's very interesting. I think that more films, parts of them at least, could be shot like this and should be shot like this. But it's hard because they chase perfection. Although you made it look perfect. It looks perfect. Now this is only selects. It's a trailer from your best stuff, but I already know. I can tell. I'm very, very impressed. T2I, unbelievable. Adam, are we going to play Name That Camera? Are we going to do a little guessing here?
I think so.
Yeah. So we got something to show that I have to guess now. I know you guys talked about this on the break. I was busy.
Yeah, I think
typing.
it could be fun.
Yeah.
To do that.
All right.
So this is a film that I made a few years back. It's called Broken Clouds, post-apocalyptic film, and it's like a 54-second trailer.
Okay, let's watch this trailer, and I'm going to tell you what camera it is.
Okay. Glenn, get a coffee, please.
I already know. Can I say I think I already know? You know what's amazing is I think I already know, and
Once it passes
No,
the
okay.
recovery, exhale,
It didn't work out.
poison.
Okay.
yeah, I think I know.
Is it lagging like that online, or is it just?
Yeah.
It is. Oh.
Human evolution. All it's really been is one long, drawn-out suicide.
All right. Can I guess now? Should I give the viewers a chance to guess?
Sure.
All right. Guess, guys.
I'll go. This one is easier, I think.
So it's a couple years ago. How many years ago? I already think I have my answer.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
you know,
I'm going to, you know what?
I already said a couple of years. I mean,
I think it's a 7D. A Canon 7D.
wow, wow.
Yeah.
Incorrect.
Incorrect?
Incorrect.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Yeah.
Am I even close? Am I in
Not
the
really.
right brand?
What did you say again?
Canon 7D.
No, not the right brand. Not the right brand.
Oh, man. Wow.
Does anybody? You want to open it up to see if anybody?
Yeah, nobody's Adam, do you know? You know the answer?
No,
I don't think Adam knows about this film. No.
Okay, you tell me.
Okay.
Nobody's said an answer.
Okay.
Tell me the amount.
The brand?
The year. Tell me the
Oh,
year and the price. I want to know the price of the camera. Well, I want the year first. Let's see if I can
Okay,
get
the
it.
year.
And the price.
Okay, 2010.
And 10. Okay. And
Yes.
and the price.
2011 is when it was done, but 2010.
Yeah. 10 was shot. Okay.
Yes, mhm.
And the price of the camera.
The price of the camera at that time?
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't even know. What was the price of that camera at the time?
Okay, I got it already.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to go brand name first.
Okay.
Panasonic.
Okay, correct.
Okay. It's 2010. It's a Panasonic. I don't think you shot. Now I'm thinking you didn't shoot it on a DSLR. So I'm thinking it's not a GH2, or GH1, which would have been my first guess if you had said that before your
Right.
reaction to the 7D.
Right.
So I'm going to go with an HMC 150. It's a true video camera, but that's not it either.
No.
But Panasonic.
It's a
is
very
brand.
popular camera, actually. I mean, this is a camera. It was shot with a camera that is extremely popular, especially at that time. It was like the go-to camera because it was for price-wise. It was already a little older.
Well, it would be but it's not because you're shooting it in 16:9. I was going to say the DVX 100.
It's the DVX 100B.
Are you serious?
Yes. Yes.
So the one guess came in from GH4 from the extender, and he's going to know he's wrong now because he's on a little bit of a delay. Yeah. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So that's a mini DV. Right? It's a mini DV.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
mini
a
DV. And
that's
you
mini
shot that
DV.
on tape?
I shot that on tape. I shot that whole film on tape. Yeah, yeah.
And how did
yeah.
you get 16:9? You just shot it 16:9.
I just shot it.
But it was
Right.
SD.
It was SD. The whole film was SD. I upconverted it to HD, which gave it sort of this graininess that, for the film in the story that
Show
I was
that
telling.
trailer again, Adam. I got to look at that. The only thing that threw me off, that really did throw me off, is there was some artifacting in the faces. But I thought that that was maybe just an effect, and I thought
Yeah,
it was an effect for a reason. You were covering something up, but I guess it was an effect because it was SD. All right, let's show that one more time. I can't believe this. This is impressive. See, you know what also was the anti-aliasing that I knew immediately it had to be like a 7D or something like that. I knew it wasn't the best camera ever. This is good footage, though. This looks really good. There, the face is right there. That's what throws me, that tells me it's not.
And this is not
like
even
that.
24 frames. This is shot at 29. So it's 30 frames.
It's like a horror film. You've made some music videos, too. You want to show one of the music videos?
Yeah. Oh, you want to show? You can show the Brick City Riot one. That'd be interesting to see what you think that would.
What that one was shot on?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to show this music video here. Let's show this one. I'm having fun with this. I hope the viewers are. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just name your camera.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's name the camera on this one too. Somebody said tape. What's that? I don't know either.
You know, because I started making films with High 8. You know, so that's so for me, all these cameras were always a huge upgrade to what it used to look like.
Do we have that, Adam?
Yeah, we're just waiting on video.
Tell me about this this music video.
This music video is actually from a DJ drummer duo, which are buddies of mine, DJ Maverick and Carlos Ferreira, and they're called Brick City Riot. So they're originally from Newark, and Carlos is one of my great friends, and we work together in many things. And this is a music video / sort of promo done for this massive Halloween party, underground party, and I took it and I kind of made it into sort of like an art, you know, sort of like a kind of like an experimental music video, you know, style thing. I mean, and there's animation. It was kind of like a little bit of a shout out to the old MTV kind of era that I grew up watching, and I wanted to do something. It was like the belly of the beast. So it's kind of like the Inferno, and that was the theme of the video. And
all right, so after this, I will announce the winner of the sangria. We gave away free sangria. I forgot I had to mention that. I got so wrapped up in the hats. So I will mention that, but we're going to watch this. What's this called again?
It's called a Brick City Riot Inferno. That's
Brick City Riot. You love Newark, I can tell.
Well, I mean, it's
not many people love Newark.
I mean, it's my neighborhood.
Yes.
You
No,
know?
I know. I get it.
I always.
All right, Adam. Let's see this. We got some audio on it. There we go. Oh, you know, pull the audio down. We don't know if we have permission to play this. We'll talk.
Yeah, yeah.
Do we have permission? Well, do we have musical rights?
Yeah.
All right, play it. He's giving it to us. This is pretty nice. I feel like it's an 80s music video.
That's a little.
I'm all MTV. I'm ready for MTV. I could be a VJ right now. Which VJ would I be? I'd be the guy who was a little chunky with the square haircut. Mark maybe was his name? No, who was the guy? He was in the 90s. He came in second, I think, to Jesse Van Camp.
Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world.
Who did the animation?
A buddy of mine, Miguel Rodriguez. It's just wild stuff.
Yeah.
And he's somebody that I've worked with for many years as well. And that's actually that's actually a compilation of a short film that he did that then I sort of reused.
I'm gonna say. All right, I got a camera. I got to figure it out.
Okay.
I think it's the same camera.
It's our come around at last.
Which one we talked
The
about?
Panasonic DVX 100B.
No.
Really?
No.
Not at all.
No, not at all.
How am I so bad at this? I'm usually really good. Does Vimeo throw it off? You think it's Vimeo, Adam? What would you guess? Lower the volume. Let's talk about this. Adam, what would you guess?
I would say, what year was it?
Yeah, well, this was just like 2 years ago or so. But this one is kind of really tough because this one has all sorts of kind of distortions.
Yeah, but I'm just
in
looking
it,
at the
and-
footage. You do have some rolling shutter there. I don't know. I guess if it's 2 years ago, I'm going to go with like, it's got to be I don't know. I'll go with a GH something.
Yeah,
Panasonic GH.
this one is the Panasonic
Yeah.
GH3.
3.
GH3.
Because it wasn't good enough to be a Canon. That's what I knew.
Right.
Like quality-wise. Seriously.
Right.
I mean, you showed us how great the T2i can look. It can't be a Canon. It's got to be, you know. The reason I picked the 7D and the other one was the anti-aliasing was really bad in the 7D, and that's what was, you know, what I noticed first.
Right.
But this one had to be a GH. So, you know, GH. I'm not a big fan of the. I know Adam loves the GH series. I don't love them.
Yeah, I don't love them either.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
I prefer the Canons.
Somebody's looking for a sponsorship. All right, we have to take a quick break, but before we do, I'm going to tell you who won the sangria. How's that sound? I think somebody's going to be very happy about this. You know what? I'll tell you when we come back. I'll make you wait. We'll be back right after this. We'll find out who won Senor Sangria's giveaway from Rick when he was in studio last week, and we'll talk a little bit more to Yuri about how he got into filmmaking and what it was like growing up in the Brick City. I didn't even know it was called the Brick City. We have to talk about that. It should be Throw the Brick City. Anyway, we'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Rode microphones are the official microphones of BeTerrific. Find out more at rodemic.com. Welcome back to the Michael Artsis Show. I'm Michael Artsis. Thanks so much for joining us. You're watching BeTerrific. Join our Slack chat, BeTerrific.com/chat/Slack rather. Sorry, BeTerrific.com/Slack, and enter your email and your name, and it's free and it's easy to join. We'll send you an invite for Slack. You can converse with us and our other viewers. And I know you guys who are the Terrifics. You are, and the Terrifics are all dying to know who won the free bottle of sangria and the T-shirt and all that from Rick Martinez from Senor Sangria from the other day. Great sangria, by the way. Amazing stuff. So there is one lucky winner, and that is Sean Dennison from The Extender. His name in the Slack chat is The Extender. He is the winner. He had the first one to email in the correct answer through the Senor Sangria website, followed by, who will win the T-shirt, a gentleman by the name of Kevin Gray. Congratulations to both of you guys, both Sean and Kevin. Thank you guys for watching and for joining our Slack chat and for going over to Senor Sangria. And I got to mention an honorable mention. Number 3rd, one of our longtime viewers, one of our most loyal viewers, not Paul Dixon, not Janny, who won't join the Slack chat. We got to get you over here. Not Digital Phil, not CJ, but the one, the only Ben Rathig. Ben, congratulations for coming in 3rd. Nice job. Thank you guys all for watching and for participating. I think that's awesome. I know that we'll have to check in with Sean once he gets his bottle and start drinking it, maybe midway through drinking it. He was so excited. He put a picture up in the Slack chat of him drinking sangria. He was inspired by the episode he made that night. So that was pretty cool.
Cool.
And we love you guys. You're the Terrifics. So anyway, what I want to know is how you got into filmmaking. Did you always want to be a filmmaker? You grew up where? Your family's from Portugal descent. They owned a Portugal newspaper in the United States of America, and you've been here your whole life?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how did you get into filmmaking?
I feel that I really got into it when I was really, really quite young. You know, I used to just I had this. I had a little bit of this obsession with just rewatching movies over and over and over again, kind of like what you do with music.
You really study them. I noticed that before. As you're dropping filmmakers' names and styles, you're not only dropping their names, you're actually talking about their style and how they influenced you.
Well, yeah. I mean, these, you know, those are the people that, you know, the mavericks in a sense, you know. Yeah, I used to have this thing where I'll explore a filmmaker and then I'll just kind of go and I like to watch his whole filmography and kind of really get to know him as an artist and as a storyteller. And then sometimes I'll know about their personal lives and kind of be creepy like that, and But most
Really,
times,
like stalkerish?
not stalkerish, but just I'll Wikipedia things and I'll be like, well, he was divorced 5 times. Interesting.
So is
and I'm
that
like, that makes sense,
Is that a goal for you when you see that? Do you want to?
No. That's actually the scarier part of like how do you maintain relationships while being a filmmaker. That's the.
You have the look though. You really do have the look of a filmmaker.
Okay, I don't know what that means, but okay.
No. You do. You got the look down, and you got the footage down and the storytelling down. That's really amazing and really important part of it. Who was your biggest influence when you were growing up, or even now?
Oh God, oh man, I don't know. There have been so many. Like again, it was like phases, I remember when I was much younger. I mean, like kind of like most people growing up in the U.S. I mean, the filmmaker that really sort of had that majestic cinema. That magic was really Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
And I know that it's kind of nowadays. There's sometimes this little stigma, like you don't want to say Steven Spielberg because it's just an obvious. But it's just like no, the man is an absolute genius storyteller.
It's really interesting.
I mean, do you remember Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
I mean, Jurassic Park. The
No, what
wonder
was
of
that? I don't remember that. No. Yeah. Keep going.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was Steven Spielberg, and then also like a lot of the De Palma stuff. But then of course, then just like European cinema, Bertolucci.
How would you get your hands on European cinema?
I would get my hands on European cinema because once the internet came out, I really was exposed to a lot of that.
But you were really interested in film to watch European cinema.
Well, yeah, but my father was a big cinephile as well. He was a big Sergio Leone guy, David Lean. He likes those old big epic films, and that old school kind of. It's all done in camera, and I feel like I kind of I was influenced by my father a lot. I think in that regard too, because there was something about kind of being there and getting everything in the camera. Because I very rarely use any sort of visual effects.
I'm not a big fan of visual effects, and I'm not a big fan of post-production workflows, color correcting stuff. I feel like you have to get it right the way you shoot it, and it's for mistakes is what I feel, but I know that's changed as time has gone on. And you can do wonderful things in post now, but I really believe shoot it right, and then you can do anything you want.
Right. One of the obsessions that I had was I would love to show these. I would love to have, for example, when I discovered Clockwork Orange, that was a big deal for me because we had to read the book, and then my brother had read it earlier, and my brother was like, "Oh, you have no idea what this is about." Anyway, and then I got my hands on the Clockwork Orange.
Was he right, or did you know what it was about? Because I watched the movie in in high school as a freshman, and
right. Well, that was kind of around the time that I saw it too.
It was very impactful.
Very impactful. Yeah. And what I did, this is one of the things that I would love to do. I would get all my girlfriends and all of my guy friends, and we would just get our big group of people, and I would invite them all over to the house, and without letting them know what I was going to put on. And I figured they're probably not going to be watching Clockwork Orange, maybe, but it's very rare that they would really watch this movie. So I had this obsession with showing people films that I knew that they wouldn't normally watch, and I've done that all my life.
That's very interesting.
So they came over, and I would put this movie on. I would say nothing, and I'd say, everybody say. I would have like a big group of people, and I would love doing this. And I'd put the film on, and then I just watch the movie. Of course, I had already seen the film many times.
So you're watching their reaction.
So I'm watching their reaction, and in a sense, I felt like I was watching it all over again. So I was able to, when you watch a film and you get your palms sweaty because you're so in it, that feeling. It's like, it's more rare now for that to happen, but there's movies that really do that, where you're almost in this cold sweat watching it, and then I would feel that, and I would love to just kind of blow their minds with this film. And in a sense, I feel like I've tried to incorporate that with my own filmmaking, where, I mean, I'm an intense person, basically. I like, and I mean, and I don't mean that in any sort of negative way. I mean, I feel like I'm just somebody that I really like to feel things, like real pain, real happiness. Like I kind of wear my emotions on my sleeves, and I feel that, when I'm truest to myself, and my kind of films are films that are just kind of like open in that way, and I've always been attracted really to that, to just something that really goes for it. And Clockwork Orange, when you watch it at that age, I mean, it creates such an impression on you, everything in that film, from the language that the characters speak, from sort of the cynical aspects of it, and then really kind of that, it's a film that many years as I've watched it, as I've gotten older. It went from being something that was funny to being something that was super dark, to being something that was completely surreal, to being something that was completely relevant. And it's a film that kind of always changed every time I saw it. It was always a different sort of experience, you know? So that's why I was always interested in showing it to people, because I felt like everybody's gonna feel differently about it. Some people are gonna laugh, other people are gonna be disgusted by it. I mean, you know? But yeah, I don't know, my filmmaking really was kind of something that, you know, I always felt that also, even being I used to live on Walnut Street, you know, just like right outside my window, there was just so many characters. I mean, I grew up in an environment where a lot of the people that were there were not like highly educated people. So it was like there were really people of action, you know? You know, when they express themselves through action, you know? It wasn't, they weren't able to, you know, articulate something in an eloquent manner. I mean, it was, you know, that's just not how it went down. So I feel like one of my biggest influences is really Martin Scorsese, especially his earlier work. And then when I sort of discovered that, I remember Raging Bull was another film that was really impactful to me.
Yeah.
You know, but I
This is
discovered him
very
a little bit later
interesting,
on.
but you're not really. You mentioned Chestnut Street. You're not really a Newark guy. You didn't live in Newark.
I lived in Walnut Street.
You're Walnut Street.
Walnut Street.
Yeah.
I lived in Walnut Street till about high school, till I went to high school.
Okay. Wow, that's impressive. Newark must have been a hard place to grow up.
No, it wasn't really a hard place to grow up, because I grew up in the Ironbound section. I mean, you know, it was always that thing where you never wanted to go towards, you know, North Newark or even South Newark, where it's a little bit more dangerous. I mean, but I don't think that it was anything, you know, it wasn't anything out of this world. It wasn't like my life was plagued with violence or danger. At least at that time, it didn't feel that way. I mean, maybe it was, and I just didn't realize it.
I think it was.
Okay.
I think it was. What was school like in Newark? I can't even imagine that. Even in Ironbound. Right?
Well, I went to Lafayette Street School. I mean, school was great. I mean, yeah, the education system wasn't all the best. I remember that the Board of Education actually took over the schools that the year that I left, before I moved out of Newark. But yeah, I mean, I remember I was just so hyper, man. You know, for me, I was just always seeking adventure. So yeah. And it's a place where there's a lot going on all the time. So it was a lot of fun actually growing up in Newark to me. You know, I love that experience. I mean, it's just that you have a ton of different people from different countries all put together in this one place. And
now you're living mostly in LA. What's your next project?
I'm working on a documentary. Right now, I shot for 3 years, also on the Canon, actually. And it's...
Not on the T2i?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's that about?
But it's going to be black and white, and I'm going to really make it something that, I mean, hopefully it'll look like some older 16mm kind of style, you know.
Would you have been better off shooting that on a Blackmagic Pocket camera to get the 16mm look?
Probably, but the thing about the Canon is I like how easy it is for me to see what I'm doing, you know. And the Blackmagic Pocket Cam it's kind of a harder camera to really see how focused you are. You know, you need like that external monitor. I mean, you could do it without, but it's harder. And I think with the Canon, it's just more complete in that regard of just guerrilla style film.
Right, and it's more of that. Do you think we'll see more and more pictures come out on these cameras, major motion pictures?
I think so. I believe that even Mad Max, I believe they used a bunch of 5D.
Would you ever use an iPhone? Would you ever consider that?
I would consider that for a project that would make sense for it. But really, in the end of the day, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I use these cameras, and my ultimate goal is to make it look as cinematic and as filmic as possible. I'm not somebody, I don't like that gimmicky kind of, I'm not really interested in that. I mean, what would I rather be doing? I'd rather be shooting on film. I mean, that's what I'd rather be doing.
Really?
Like, yes, absolutely.
Well, I mean, that's not going to happen ever again.
You know? Well.
Okay, but you could be so if you had your choice, you'd shoot
if
you don't want to shoot on a T2i, you'd shoot on a Red.
Sure.
Or no, you like that intimacy, and you still want to use it.
No, I like the intimacy, but you can have that intimacy even with the Red if you set it up properly.
Sure.
You know, so it's just a matter of doing it that way. But
the big fan won't hurt the intimacy.
Right. But I mean, look, for me, it's really about the end result.
Sure.
I'm basically kind of like a filmmaker that.
When you look at your films, are you proud?
Like
when you look at this Exit Road, are you proud?
Yes, I am proud. I'm very proud. I'm proud of. But I'm mostly proud of, everybody that was involved in it. I'm mostly proud of my actors, because they're the ones that really, made it worthwhile. Because it's all about them. I mean, in the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you're doing from a visual standpoint. The people are connecting with the actors, and I love actors, and I love. That is the thing that is the most exciting, is working with it's the human aspect of it, because the technical things, it's kind of like going to the bathroom and flushing the toilet. After a while, it's like, it's a systematic thing, it's really like what you're capturing, and that relationship, and what will happen there, or what won't happen, or the surprise, or I don't know, like, I'm really interested in faces, people's faces. Yeah. I cast very much like that, just if you have a face that I'm really interested in.
What am I playing in one of your films?
What are you playing in one of my films?
Yeah.
I don't know. You can be sort of like a hat dealer.
Hat dealer.
Like a hat
We're
dealer.
bringing it back to hats here. Hats? You want hats? I've got hats. All the hats you want.
What do you want? What do you want? I got hats from all over the world. What do you
That reminds me of one of my favorite lines from any movie. I used to have a Jeep Wrangler, right? Mm-hmm. That was my first car, and I had these driving lights, these Pias. Remember Pias? They were huge.
Yeah.
I had them under my back bumper. People used them as fog lamps. These were driving ones, and I put them under my back bumper. Because I couldn't stand people would come up on me with their brights on. This was a popular thing at the time, and everybody had these crazy headlights. So I put them under my back bumper, but what they didn't realize at the time was that I had a front full of lights. I had like 100,000 candle power. I had that bar on top with all the off-roading lights. I had another set of driving Pias. I had the yellow ones underneath the front bumper so that I could annoy the people who had the yellow ones who would drive at me with the yellow fog lamps. So when you drive with them without fog on, I would remind you by flicking the yellow ones I had on to kind of annoy you, because they were blinding. And then and then I had the regular factory fog lamps on the bumper, and then I had two other, whatever. This thing was full of lights.
Jesus, you had quite a setup.
So I tricked this thing out. This was my first car, and what do you do with your first car?
You just go all out.
Yeah. Right. And so I saved up all summer to do this in a stereo system. Anyway, so one of my favorite lines from a movie was Bad Boys, and they walk in, they're in that convenience store, and the guy says, they go, "Oh no, we're cops," because he sees their guns, thinks they're going to rob them. You remember this?
Yeah,
scene?
I do remember. Yeah.
Yeah, and they go, "Oh no, we're cops." And he's like, "Badges, mother bitch! You want badges? I got all the badges you want. $5.99. You can have any badge." So somebody drive up behind me with their brights on. I flick on these Pias and flick them off, like, "Please turn your brights off." And then they drive around me and they give me the finger and do all this, and then I should never tell this on air.
So you must have been very popular.
Oh, I'd get right on their bumper and I'd light them all up. Yeah, and I'd go, "Yeah, lights? You want lights? I got all the lights you want."
Right.
Yeah. No, I was popular. I just was a jerk. That's all.
Well, that's why you were popular.
Exactly. I've calmed down a lot though. Now I'm positive. But anyway, so I'd be a hat dealer. Yeah.
I mean, that's just
No, I was asking you. Say faces. I'm curious what you see in somebody's face. That's. I'm not an actor. I'm not going to be in your film. I'm just saying, like, where would you see? You look at faces. Where would you see a face cast? I'm curious how you take that, and so that's why I was giving that to you.
I see. Yeah, it's kind of like an emotional.
So when you look at Adam, where do you cast? I see Dexter.
Dexter. No, Adam. I don't know. I see him. I actually see him the reverse of what he actually is. I see him completely integrated with nature, and somebody that it's kind of like belongs to that world than the technical world that he actually belongs to. But that's just, again, going off of his face.
So you see a guy living in a tent.
Yeah, I see a man in that just kind of
that's not
in a relationship with land. You're right, but what I see in the faces doesn't mean that it's what they are.
But they're acting.
Right.
So what would you see offset? What would you see there? You guys look like you could be twins, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, Glenn looks like your doppelganger. Throw some glasses on him. We've got brothers from a different mother.
Yeah. I don't know. Glenn, I don't know. I see him as a guy that maybe he's a gambler or something like that.
I could see that.
Yeah, I could see him gambling. Maybe a guy that's really into horse races.
Oh, I totally see that. Now, you come back to me now. What do you think now? Are you still with I'm a hat dealer? Is that really it? I guess I could be the hat dealer.
Listen, I'm going to come up with something better for you, because obviously you don't like this hat dealer.
No. I don't think you judge that by my face. I think you were making a joke. If you were serious, I'll live with it.
That's true.
I really am curious how you see people.
I don't know. I think that you have a sort of you have a kind of like a zen a zenness to you.
Wow.
Yeah, your face. You have almost like sort of some semi-Asian features.
Really?
Your
I've
eyes.
heard that before, by
Yeah.
the way. Seriously. I don't know where they came from. Maybe the milkman. Maybe my father really wasn't a cokehead because he wasn't really my father. I don't know.
Hey, man.
There you go.
Revelations.
Yeah.
Revelations.
Whoa. This is just turning into Oprah. I am. I'll stick with. Yeah. See, now I'm looking at the shot, and with the hat, I could be the guy from James Bond who throws the hat. What's that guy's name?
Oh my God. Oh yeah. What is that guy's name?
I can't even remember. Somebody's got to know out there.
Who knows? Who
The
knows?
audience
Anybody?
knows. So I put the hat back on for you. There you go. And yeah, I'm curious. But if you ever need a talk show host, I'll be happy to play that. Or if you ever need a ring announcer, if you ever redo Raging Bull, I could do it. You want me to audition for that right now?
Yeah, that's true.
All right, you ready?
You can also play a lawyer.
I could play a lawyer, but
play a lawyer.
I, as much as fun as acting, I think would be, I'm not an actor. I want you to get a real actor. If you needed somebody to be a talk show host, I'll play that role. If you need somebody to be your ring announcer for Raging Bull 2, I'll do that. You ready for this? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world's most famous arena, 12 rounds of professional boxing. Tonight's main event, Iron Mike Tyson versus Evander, the real deal, Holyfield. What do you think?
I think that you got a lot of potential.
Thank you. Evander was later called the Warrior, by the way. By the way, the extender says you need a brand new small HD 501 monitor. I couldn't agree more. That's a monitor the size of an iPhone, so that might help you if you were looking at using external monitors. I think the battery issue with the pocket camera and having to color correct every shot whether you want to or not, and the desaturated even in the ProRes look, that's the thing you don't want. And that camera's got other issues. When you're shooting a whole film would be difficult. I think your work is amazing. I look forward to seeing this film and your other films, having you back on. You're welcome anytime, by the way.
Thank you.
Anytime you'd like to come talk hats or anything else. You can sit next to us when we have other guests on too, and even over Skype. You know, what do you think? You could be like, you could be Ed McMahon when you're not filmmaking.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Sounds good. I can take on that persona.
Yeah, you got to. Sure. That's where I see you being cast. Yeah,
nice,
see,
nice.
And we just got to work on the.
So
I did not know that. You know, those kinds of lines. Whatever.
Okay.
Hey-o! Yeah. What were you going to say? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I have no idea what I was going to say.
I'll tell you what. We'll take a quick commercial break, and then we'll wrap this up in a nice little bow when we come back. Say goodbye to you. Maybe that's it, and we'll talk about the other stuff we didn't get to today. Adam, so much to get to when we come back tomorrow. But we'll be back right after this, so don't go anywhere. You're the Terrifics, and we love you for it. Keep watching. Rode microphones are the official microphones of BeTerrific. Find out more at rodemic.com. Welcome back. Yes, you guys are watching on a delay. It's like a minute or 2 minutes. Sean wants to know, the extender, how long is the delay? Is it worse than a satellite live shot? Yes, it is, because a satellite live shot's like 3 seconds. It feels like an eternity, or maybe 5. This is at most. This is definitely like a minute and a half. But that's the way it is. Live stream was a pretty big delay, but not as big as this. Anyway, Ben says he never thought of shooting in HD and converting it to look grainy. Well, there you go. Now you learned a new trick, Ben. That's pretty good, especially black and white and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's part of me that gets sad when you do that, because you're taking the beauty and how beautiful we can make a shot, and you're making it not as beautiful. But on the other hand, it's beautiful in a different way because it's becoming more artistic, especially for effect. Now, when you were in, this is Yuri Alves, and you're a filmmaker. Exit Road is your current film. You got a lot of projects. Dreamplay Productions is also your company. You've got a lot going on. But when you were a kid, you showed your friends Clockwork Orange. Did you show them Blue Velvet too? Was that one of the ones?
I did show Blue Velvet.
That is a freaky movie.
Yeah,
I saw that in high. So I had a film class in high school where we learned how to shoot and edit, and they showed us the wall. The guy showed us Neil Sagerson. He showed us The Wall, Clockwork Orange, and Blue Velvet, completely unedited, and a couple other films. And parents complained to the point where he had to stop showing them, and he got in a lot of trouble. Did you get in any trouble? Did your friends' parents complain to your parents or to you or anything?
No, because the parents, they didn't even know that we were.
But I'm sure it got to some of those parents at some point. I mean, there was a lot of violence, sexual violence,
right?
All sorts of crazy things going on in those days. Drugs?
I don't remember that. I mean, maybe that was the case. I don't remember that, but I did get in trouble because I remember freshman year, during Halloween, I decided, along with a few other friends of mine, that we would just be the Clockwork Orange gang, the Druids. So we dressed up in the white, and I know that that's very common now, but as a freshman in high school, no one did that. No one even knew what we were. Most people didn't know, but the teachers did. So when the teachers found out what we were, I mean, and it's that kind of thing where you start to embody. So we would walk around the hallways, and I had the cane, and I would just start hitting the lockers with my cane.
That's a little freaky.
And I started to feel, can you imagine, me and my 3 buddies walking down the hallway, all dressed as the Druids?
No,
and then the teachers were like, "Oh, I don't even know if that's allowed." And I said, "What are you gonna do about it?" And I just walked away.
You're crazy. Talk about a jerk. No, this is especially after Columbine. I imagine you were in high school.
And then I get in your car, and then you just blast them with all the lights.
Yes,
and we blind them, and you're like, "Catch me if you can."
Very
well.
I'm in a rocket-powered Wrangler. I didn't have the nitro switch put in yet at that point. But I mean, especially this was after Columbine, I imagine, because
I actually made a my biggest controversial film ever was actually one that I made in high school. It was called Fatal Reaction.
Yeah.
And it was a film that was adapted from The Crucible. So what I did is I took The Crucible, and instead of it being the witches, I made it be the hysteria of the Columbine, of the freaks, So I retold that story, but from that angle. And then, if you remember at the end of that story, I changed the characters around. But anyway, the character is willing to hang instead of lying in order to keep her integrity. So I had a scene where this girl's just hanging from the train tracks. And so I presented that film to the school right after the Columbine. Yeah. And I actually got together. It was really special in a way because I got all of these different cliques to work together on this movie. And in a way, some of those people became friends, so I thought it was really nice because, you had sort of like the alternative, sort of like Nirvana, and then you had like the hip-hop heads, and you had them all together in this one film because I was cool with all of those people. And the funny thing is that in bringing those people together, the controversy was that the project was made and that people were like, well, you can't, I'm like, well, this is an prejudice film. And this film is showing you how awful it is, but actually for us to make this movie demonstrating this, I had to come together. So the opposite occurred in order for this project to get made. And the film was banned. So then I actually had like VHS tapes in my locker room, and I would kind of
give them out.
And then the vice principal found out, and she goes, "Yuri," she would call me and she goes, "Yuri, you got to stop it with the VHS." I'm like, I can't control it. I don't know. They recorded it. Because in those days you can just do the I don't even know what it's called anymore. When you used to take a VHS tape, you would duplicate it, right?
Yeah, dub it.
Dub it. Oh my God. Yeah, and so then people would dub it. So it became like a little cult film within the school. But I had a great experience in high school. Overall, they let me do whatever I wanted. I would shut people out of the bathroom. People would go to the bathroom, and my vice principal, Miss Bombalevich, I'll never forget, highly influential person in my life. We didn't have any art programs. We didn't have any film programs. I was kind of the only one. I had my camera with me at all times in my locker room. Somehow I was able to not be that creepy kid.
What kind of camera was this?
I had a Sony Hi-8 camera, and basically I would film. I would be making my films all the time during those days, and I made a comedy in the bathroom called Toilet Dreams. Anyway, and so it was all.
That sounds like an adult film, by the way.
Yeah. And then so people would go into the bathroom. We had the.
He made it on Hi-8, not 8mm, Adam. It was not a snuff film.
And so people would go to the bathroom and they would say, no, you can't go in there. Yuri's shooting, and they'd be like, just use the bathroom upstairs. And but my vice principal actually was super.
What was this movie about?
Toilet Dreams was a film about 2 guys that meet each other in the bathroom, and they're both from like 2 different sort of like social groups during high school, and they both realize that they want to take the same girl to the prom, but they're also with that stigma that, oh, I would never go to the bathroom, and I'll never take a shit in the bathroom. That we don't do that. Like, I would never do that. And then those 2 guys from those 2 different sort of cliques end up both next to each other in the stall, and then they both reveal each other's secrets, that they're both kind of like taking a giant dump in school. And as you can tell, this is a very, for us it was very funny. And then to realize that the two of them are both competing for the same girl. And anyway, it was just a little short film that we did with a great friend of mine. But that was Toilet Dreams, and it was all scored to bebop music.
Wow, that's an interesting one. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's definitely the mind of a high school student for sure.
Well, yeah.
What
Well,
was
yeah.
it? What was that? Was that your first film?
No.
Okay. So you didn't get in any trouble though for showing Clockwork Orange. I'm impressed by that. And then you did get in trouble for making this film. I think it's interesting though that you were able to walk the halls like that. I mean, you got in trouble, but after Columbine, everybody was very touchy, rightfully so.
Well, what happened was
it's interesting. Did you get experience? It seems like you got experience as an actor right then, so that you could maybe better direct actors because you were acting and you were getting into character and really into character.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, really what allowed me to kind of get away with a lot during my high school years was I made a 9/11 documentary.
Yeah.
And I presented to the entire school September 18th.
September 18th. This is
so I shot and edited this
7 days after.
7 days after, because I thought that anything after that, it would be, it just would be, it wouldn't be tasteful,
Right.
It's like, but I thought that sort of that cathartic moment, had that 1 week span, and so I shot and edited this film, and because I had the camera in school when that happened. So that was my first film that I really did, that I had an audience, and I was able to present to the entire school. I'll never forget, I showed it to my principal in those days, and it was I went to Kearney High School, so we were directly across. I saw the buildings collapse. We all did from school, because we have the New York skyline. So it was something that was so impactful, and there were some students, parents that actually passed away. So, and I interviewed the school, and I did it all in that I didn't sleep for a week. And then I was sort of tormented with those images, especially at that time. And again, I was kind of found myself inside of something that I'm like, I have to see it through till the end, even though this is sort of like hurting me to go through it. But I wanted it. There was something, it was almost like a calling. I needed to do it to kind of cope with it. And we presented to the entire school. And, and people cried watching it. I'll never forget that when I showed it to my principal, who needed to approve it, and my principal was a very, he's a man of great presence, Mr. DeJester. I'll never forget him. And he was also a great musician. And I showed it to him, and he watched it just on a small TV. And then after he saw the film, we were watching it. After the film finished, he got up and he just gave me this gigantic hug, and with tears in his eyes. And then, he said, "It's great. We'll definitely play it, and I want the whole school to see it, and we'll have 2 different sessions so everyone can see it." And that was one of those really impactful moments because, obviously what had happened and that yearning to capture it through the lens, because it was a way for me to make sense of it all, but it allowed me to see the power of cinema and to see how much it can affect people. And I think that was a really, really defining moment in my life, having had the opportunity to do something like that. And I do believe that I am credited as the person to make the first 9/11 documentary ever, because that film was presented in 1 week. This was not in high school.
Well, sure. It's very impressive. I don't know. There certainly were a lot of news people who were out there doing stuff.
Right.
I worked September 11th as a reporter, and there were a lot of news people. They turned around stories very quick. Those are kind of mini documentaries, a lot of them. Certainly, maybe even a documentary, maybe a 60 Minutes. I don't know. It's all a blur to me, to be honest with you. But I will tell you that certainly it's impressive, especially in high school. It's interesting it had such a profound impact on your life, especially from the filmmaking aspect, because you don't think that there are positives that can come out of something like that, especially to the extent that they did. And, for me, I will tell you that I lost friends that day. It was a very hard day for many New Yorkers, but many people around America, for all of us, right? And I think it really, I said this about the Boston Marathon when we saw this woman, Rebecca, I forget her last name now, who's missing a leg and has a prosthetic, run the Boston Marathon.
Oh, yes, I saw her.
I said, the terrorists, it really rings true that the terrorists, the exact opposite of what they want to happen happens. They want to tear us apart, create chaos, create terror and fear and ruin our lives and kill us all, right? The fact is, unfortunately, people's lives were lost, but the reality is it brought out the best in humanity. It always does for us. We all pull together. It's unfortunate we don't do that every day in normal times and normal living, and it takes some horrific act to really bring us together like that, but there are times when we do, and there are times when we do and we don't even recognize it because it's just normal life. But I think that that's the most victorious part and the sweetest part, is that it brings us together as people. And we're going to have a guy on next week, I think. His name's Matt McDermott. He's an amazing photographer. He's going to show us some pictures he just shot in Nepal. And he's going to talk about his experience there. He also works for AmeriCares, an amazing organization we'll learn a little bit about. And he goes and shoots stuff. But I know Matt through the New York Post and my time there. And Matt, and I did a story on Matt 10 years later, looking back at what he went through. And I think it's a really impactful story. We're going to show that when he's here too. And it shows that what I learned from it is people like my grandfather was a wartime photographer for the U.S. Army Air Corps. People like Matt, who is a photojournalist, run into these situations as other people are running out and are just as much heroes as the people who are fighting to save lives and fighting for our freedom, because without those people, you wouldn't have the depth and the brevity and the emotion for generations to come of what actually happened. You just have pictures from afar instead of actually the despair on the faces and stuff like that. So
right. I mean,
it's
a hugely honorable profession.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that, like, I actually, I'll never forget. I don't know if you ever seen a film called Salvador with James Woods, but he plays a journalist, sort of corrupt man, but has this calling, you know, that he has to be there.
Yeah.
I always find people that have that profession, you know, it's a very moving thing for you to do that.
Well, and Robert Redford was in that movie. I forget the name of it. And there's China Syndrome, and there's a lot of them that really showcase the best parts of journalism. But look, I mean, there's some journalism in you too, because your family's a newspaper family. You have this Portuguese paper in the United States spreading Portuguese news. Very, very interesting that is in you, and you like telling stories. It's an interesting, like, that we just took this kind of full circle. And thank you for coming on, Yuri Alves. The film is Exit Road. Everybody's got to check it out. It will be available digitally soon. It's doing the film festival circuit and small theater release, and then it will be available digitally. But you can go see the trailer on Vimeo now. Check out Exit Road. Great film. We saw the trailer before, but you can watch it again. One last thing, real quick. Odd Job. The extender says Odd Job. Put up a picture in our Slack chat. Do you know what Odd Job is? Odd Job is the guy's name from the film Goldfinger, the James Bond film.
Oh, Odd Job.
That we were talking about before.
Sweet.
That with the hat, maybe I look like him. Oh, I just dropped my aftershocks. I guess we'll see how durable they are. That was not the plan. I went to put on my hat and say, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You are the Terrifics, and you make this special. I want to thank everybody at BeTerrific who works so diligently behind the scenes, including Adam Holtz and all of our partners and friends. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. You guys are the best. And thank you for watching. Until tomorrow, the next time, be terrific.